My entire family, by the way, is asleep. So I've been you've been relegated to the back patio.
Yeah.
I've been relegated to the garage. And poor Johan has been relegated to a mansion in Mallorca. God, poor guy.
Hey, once in a while we have to be like George. Once in a while we have to taste the year-long life of George.
So. Yeah, you're channeling your inner George. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Move podcast, talking about the Tour of Spain, recapping week number 2. Of course, and I'm frankly quite surprised. I'm joined up. Look at over there, Mr. George Hincapie. George, I was worried. It's early on Labor Day. I know how y'all roll out there at the lake in Granville. But it's nice to see you up and at 'em.
I was just happy to get a response from you. It's nice to say, hey, I can only do it this time in the morning. I said, whatever it takes to make the team happy, I'll be ready.
Attaboy. And Johan, looks like you're still living your best life down there. And
tomorrow it's finished. Tomorrow back to Madrid.
Back to reality.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what the reality is. The reality is Ben O'Connor's lead in this Tour of Spain, which has been it's what we debated last week. Can he hold on? We're going to get into all that. I did catch some of yesterday's stage. And I was, we've talked about this before. Is that the way cycling today has to be hard enough and selective enough? That the end of the final climb was just
brutal.
I mean, they could barely stay on their bikes.
Yeah.
Nasty. We'll get into all the action. But before we do, today's show brought to you by Zwift. Zwift makes it easy. They just released the Zwift Ride, an all-new smart bike that is changing the indoor game, making it easier and more affordable than ever before to get started riding indoors. Now, you may not know I wasn't a fan of riding indoors back in the day, but Zwift has changed that for me, and hopefully with Zwift Ride, they can change that for you. This bike is ultra quiet, super easy to set up. You just need one tool. That's the frame key to build it all and make any adjustments to saddle height, bar height, or reach. And once you're done, that frame key slots right back into the magnetic holder in the frame, so you never lose it. This adjustability makes Zwift Ride perfect for anyone in the house to use. And at $1299.99, it's a game changer. So head on over to Zwift.com to check it out. That's Zwift.com. I did see on your Instagram. I know I haven't been great about responding. And I'm sorry. But I did see on your Instagram, you got the new Zwift bike.
I did. I set it up in my home gym. The ride, this is super solid, stable feel.
It's butter.
Yeah, it's better. I love it. It's great.
Also today brought to you by Ventum. Of course, we got Ventum trivia. I was just realizing something. Like if you're watching the show, look at there hanging up on the wall. Look at that. You see that? Look at my Ventum. I got 2 Ventums. I got my back there right here. I got the GS1 and the NS1. That just happened by accident. My entire family, by the way, is asleep. So I've been you've been relegated to the back patio.
Yeah.
I've been relegated to the garage. And poor Johan has been relegated to a mansion in Mallorca. God, poor guy.
Hey, once in a while we have to be like George. Once in a while we have to taste the year-long life of George. So.
Yeah, you're channeling your inner George. The Ventum trivia for week 1. This wasn't I don't think this was a heavy lift for y'all. Question for week 1 was, what city and state is defending Vuelta winner Sepp Kuss from? Now, the answer to that, which I'm sure 99.9% of y'all got, is Durango, Colorado. Here's the question for week 2. 5 cyclists have won all 3 of the major Grand Tours in their careers. 5 cyclists have won all 3 of the major Grand Tours in their careers. Can you name at least 3 of the 5 riders? Now that one, 99.9% of y'all will not get. But back to Ventum. Why choose Ventum? But not only is it a brand we love, it's a brand that's kicking ass. And for the price, my friends, unbelievable. The new GS1 is more stable and smooth over rough and technical roads. thanks to longer reach, better tire clearance, and longer wheelbase. The SRAM Apex AXS GS1 in the minted colorway. Check this out, $29.99. Full electronic SRAM Apex shifting, same full carbon frame found on the highest end GS1s, and exclusively available in that minted colorway. Listeners of The Move can save 20% off any Ventum bike during the Vuelta using the code THEMOVE20. That's THEMOVE20. Head on over to ventumracing.com/TheMove. Check out. Code is THEMOVE20. All right, let's get into it. Lots of stuff. Yeah, Johan, you did a fantastic job on these notes. I love it. These notes, when you just don't watch a whole lot of the Tour of Spain, these notes are very helpful. I tell you what is crazy, all right, is it has nothing to do with this bike race. Well, a little bit to do with it. Yesterday was September 1st. Can we all just relate to that for a second? Where the fuck did 2024 go?
I know. It's kind of depressing.
And it is a little depressing. And we're already 2 weeks into the Tour of Spain.
Yeah.
Man.
And what a crazy 2 weeks it's been. We're seeing the resurgence of Wout van Aert. I mean, back to his dominant form. Who knows if in the back of his mind he's already thinking about the World Championships. But he's clearly back to his top level. Obviously, not there's a lot of racing going on, so all the best guys aren't there, but he's still winning pretty handedly and quite impressive and quite dynamically as well. Sprints, breakaways. It's been pretty fun to watch him go.
Yeah, three stage wins already, right? For him, can't go wrong anymore. Something tells me he will win another one. The other day he was close with Caden Groves, right? But it was a smaller group. Impressive job of Caden Groves and who had 5 of his teammates there, which was impressive. Something tells me that Wout van Aert needs to look for other opportunities because he's the big favorite for those sprints. He needs to start himself. Usually doesn't have a lot of teammates left, so it's a bit risky. But as you say, George, I think Van Aert is back to being the Wout van Aert we like to see. He wins on different terrains, will 100% sure win the points competition. And is actually still in the running for the KOM, which sounds crazy, in this kind of terrain in the Tour of Spain. I don't know if he might get a goal. He will have to go in a breakaway. And now we have Jay Vine in contention together with Wout van Aert. So Jay Vine will probably make that a goal. But yeah, Wout is Wout, and I think he will. Obviously, he has two big goals now. It's the European Championships, which are around the corner, and the World Championships. European Championships probably better suited for him. The World Championships is very hard, 4,000 meters of climbing, but this Wout van Aert can probably do that. So yeah, going to be interesting to see. I just saw the Belgian selection for the European Championships and the World Championships. Very strong team. Different than the Olympics because it's 8 riders versus 4 riders, so it's completely different dynamics. But we could also probably think that Wout van Aert is already with his mind in those championships, which would obviously make up for, the last 2 years have been difficult for him. Getting one of those jerseys would be amazing, and it's definitely a title he would deserve.
Is the European Championship? I mean, help me out. Were you going to ask the same question, George?
Same exact question. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when they started this. When they started, the race and giving out the jersey, I thought, I mean, look, no offense to the EU, but I'm like, I get it. You want to be the national champion. Mm-hmm. And I certainly get it that you want to be the world champion. I'm like, who do people care?
I think there's only one rider who cares. It's the guy who wins and can wear the jersey for a whole year. We had Sagan have it a few times, I think, or at least once. We had Jakobsen. This year it's been Christophe Laporte. So, it does not have the same prestige, obviously. And especially for a guy like Wout van Aert, I think if he could be Belgian champion, that jersey is a lot more iconic than a European champion. But hey, if you can be Belgian champion and you're not world champion, I would take it.
Yeah, but does it affect his preparation for the Worlds? I mean, coming off of such a hard Tour of Spain, successful Tour of Spain, I feel like, of course, cycling has changed. We're wrong many times now, but I would focus on one or the other, perhaps. But maybe, like you said, he's not so confident in his ability to overcome that amount of climbing at the World Championships. Who knows? But my guess is we've seen him climb pretty amazing. One stage of Mount Ventoux. With this kind of form, the guy can do anything.
I'm with George on that.
Yeah. Well, the European Championship, it's in Limburg, so it's a bit like Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Amstel Gold Race, perfectly in the possibilities of Van Aert. And it's, fresh off, if he's in the shape he's now, I don't think he needs any special preparation for that. It's just another race in the lead up towards the World Championship. So, and also, these kind of races will be a lot more tactical with teams of more riders. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, Wout van Aert, the way he won that stage, what was it? Stage 10, stage 11, stage 10, with the breakaway with this poor French guy, Quentin Paché from Groupama. The poor guy just did everything he could. And it was like a professional racing with a junior that day.
Yeah, that's one of those finishes where you go, there's no chance you're going to lose that.
What can you do?
Guaranteed win. It was also really exciting to see two first-time Grand Tour stage winners with Eddie Dunbar coming off a really tough year, injured, didn't know if he'd ever make it back to the pro peloton, and just did one of those all or nothing to lose attacks right there with a K or 1,500 meters to go. And to me, it was personally exciting to watch somebody like that to go through so many, trials and tribulations throughout the season. To be able to win a Grand Tour is a dream come true and fun to watch.
Yeah, so some of these stories you only find out because then Eddie Dunbar wins the stage, and then I read he had like 8 crashes in the last 18 months or something. Yeah, to see him take that win was he timed it perfectly, and but you had to be there. That particular stage, I would like to know your guys' opinion on that, guys. As you know or may not know, there's this experiment of the UCI with the yellow cards. They've talked about it in the tour. They're now experimenting with it. And 3 riders of Decathlon AG2R plus the director got a yellow card for an incident. So basically what happened was there was, as usual, big chaos, big war. Breakaway got away, and then the team of the leader goes to the front. They basically close off the road, and for some reason, I don't know why, what happened, Carapaz crashed, and they got given a yellow card for dangerous riding. What's your guys' opinion on that?
I mean, I saw the crash. I didn't really see that the guy in front moved into Carapaz. He just established his position on the road, which, I mean, cycling is all about positioning and taking, your control of the space you have. So if you have a team strong enough to have 6 guys in the front and you want to sit all 6 on the front, in my opinion, you've established that right because you got there. And if somebody wants to get around, they got to figure out how to do it. It's a tough sport. We all know what it's like to control a race for the GC. We've done it many times, and it doesn't get any harder than that. And I didn't see like any malicious attempt by this decathlon rider to crash Richard Carapaz. I think Richard Carapaz, obviously super strong rider, trying to get in the breakaway, maybe just took a little bit of risk in the shoulder there and got stuck, crashed. I didn't see them do anything wrong. They were in the front, just riding there, trying to control the race.
You know what I just realized, it maybe shouldn't be called a yellow card because everything you just described. By the way, I think it's a silly experiment, just on its face. But it should probably be called the anti-Mosca card. Everything we just laid out there, George, all this stuff you've talked about, since you grew up, since you were like 2 racing bikes, your dad was like, hey, George, you got to be Mosca. This is everything.
I'm saying that to my son right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, right? But I'm with you. I mean, come on. What? Thank God it's just an experiment.
Well, the problem with these things is that these experiments tend to become rules afterwards. And I'm, independently of the issue of whether it was dangerous riding or not, I think this thing with the yellow cards is becoming a problem because, yellow card is supposed to, it's a warning. And then I haven't looked into the details, but I suppose that if you get 2 yellow cards, it turns into a red card, like in football, soccer over here. And you're disqualified or thrown out of the race. Incidents, like yellow cards, for example, in bunch sprints, they're also going to give yellow cards. And I'm really concerned that they won't implement the interpretation of the situation is an issue. And you can, as a sprinter, for example, you can get a yellow card and that's not even your fault because you need to do something. You're in the bike race, you're fighting to stay on your bike. You get a yellow card, second yellow card, you're out of the race. I think that's a bit too much. So we'll see. I think there's already enough rules and, there's fines.
Well, where is the riders union in all this?
Well, listen, Lance, I have news for you. And nothing has changed in the last 30 years on that front. They're a bit more organized.
Then you know what? Then we're going to give a yellow card to the riders union. How about that?
Yeah,
we're throwing around yellow cards and red cards and pink cards. I mean, whatever card.
I don't think it's an issue of them wanting. It's just an issue that the UCI just has everything under their control and they don't let them have the necessary voice. It's never been different and won't change. We can sit here until next year to talk about this. Anyway, let's talk about something else, something really exciting in the Tour of Spain.
Well, because that is what is exciting, right? Are you going to talk about Ben O'Connor and whether or not he can hang on and Primoz Roglic?
No, I'm first going to talk about Pablo Castrillo.
I mean, out of nowhere, 2 stage wins.
Yeah, well, not really out of nowhere. Really out of nowhere.
For some of us.
Yeah.
You can give me a yellow card on this if you'd like for not knowing the guy's shoe size, but
definitely the first time he comes to the fourth. But if you follow his season, this is the best rider in Spain of the non-World Tour teams. He's been very consistent. Little Bird has told me that a few months ago he has already signed with Ineos, so moves teams to Ineos. I think it's a rider with huge potential. I mean, that stage win yesterday was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I thought that was when he went. I thought that was a TV attack.
I said the same thing, TV attack, because he looks like he was suffering so much the whole way at the bottom of the climb. Looked like he was on his last breath.
And not riding away from Pannekuchen exactly. I mean, I thought there's no way he can do this.
Yeah. I mean, Sivakov was obviously riding for GC, but then you have Vlasov, who is a top 5 contender in any Grand Tour. And when you saw the face of Vlasov when he came back, I said, okay, that doesn't look good at all. I want little detail also. So he wins stage 12 and he wins stage 15. The first stage when he won was actually very emotional. I don't know if you guys caught that. The founder of the team passed away. Excuse me. The night before that stage win, and he got that.
Johan, I didn't. George was sneezing. There is a mute button on that Zoom feature, George.
I know it came up quick.
Okay, the founder of the team. What?
The founder of the team passed away the night before that stage win, and so the whole team. I saw footage. The whole team got together. They so obviously very emotional. But he dedicated the stage win to that man, and I mean it was super emotional, and for this team, man, I mean it's one of there's 4 second division teams in Spain, and only 2 can have an invite, so they have a role. 2 years, two teams 1 year, 2 teams the other year. So this year is the turn of Kern Pharma. But man, having 2 stage wins in their national tour, that's massive. It's massive.
Yeah, and they were already in the breakaways from day one. I mean, they've not only represented the breakaways, they've got 2 stage wins. We were fortunate enough to be in Girona last week or 10 days ago, and we got to ride with Danny Vandertuck, who's also on Kern Farmer. I had actually never really known. I never really knew much about the team, but he just spoke very highly of the team and what a great organization they have. And Danny actually signed with Lotto. I don't know if you know that, Johan, or if anybody knows that, but yeah, so he's going there. And it's just for a team like that, it's a dream come true scenario that they've already won 2 stages. I mean, they could just pretty much ride to the finish and not do anything else and have a successful Vuelta.
Wow. Let's get into all the rest of the action. And I say, all right, the big headline is, can he do it? Can Ben O'Connor, which I think we all agree, but we'll get to that. Today's show also brought to you by Ketone IQ. We often hear that fasting and exercise are good for the brain. HVMN launched the world's first drinkable ketone in 2017. Ketone IQ is their latest innovation on ketones with improved effectiveness, taste, and cost. Ketone IQ delivers clean fuel that can cross the blood-brain barrier, supplying your brain and body sustained energy, focus, and sharpness. Also an exclusive partnership with Visma Lisabite, doing a bunch of research in and around that team and just and ketones in general. Cool to see. 30% off your first subscription order plus a free 6-pack. No, it's not that 6-pack. It's a ketone 6-pack when you use the link ketone.com/themove. Also today brought to you by AG1. Morning routines are critical to me. One of the most important parts of my routine is drinking my AG1, aka taking control of my health. I drink it before working out, right before making my coffee. It makes me feel ready to take on my day like I'm doing something good for my body. Like I said, love taking control of my health. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut health support and is backed by multiple research studies, so you can absolutely trust what you're putting in your body. If there's one product I trust to support my whole body health, it is AG1. That's why I've partnered with them for so long. It's easy and satisfying to start your journey with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, plus 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Head on over to drinkag1.com/themove. That's drinkag1.com/themove. Also today, last one of the day, brought to you by Helix Sleep. What's up, Helix? Good to see you back. I just woke up. It is early here. We started the show just after 6 a.m. I just crawled out of my Helix Sleep mattress. Pretty amazing. This is the deal. As we know, sleep is the most critical thing when it comes to recovery, performance, longevity, so many things. If sleep is off, well, unfortunately, most things are off. So how about figure it out and have the best mattress possible? By the way, GQ and Wired Magazine has named it the best mattress out there. Here's the deal. You go on and you take a less than 2-minute sleep quiz. You talk about the characteristics of your sleep, what you like, what you don't like, what's good for you, what's bad for you. And a fully customizable mattress shows up at your doorstep. Pretty amazing. The lineup includes 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collections. The Helix Plus. Now that's a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers. Johan, you and me are not those. George might somewhat qualify. Helix is offering up to 25% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/themove. That's helixsleep.com/themove. Check this out. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long with Helix. Better sleep starts now. All right, Primoz Roglic. This guy.
Yeah,
I love watching this guy.
First before we go to Primoz, let's highlight the amazing victory of Mike Woods.
Yeah.
He's been going for breakaways, and finally he got in the right break. Got, I would say, helped a bit by the unfortunate crash of Brandon McNulty and Jay Vine. I mean, that was a scary crash, especially Brandon McNulty, who amazingly came out of the depth and got back on his bike and finished the stage and seems to be doing all right. But Mike Woods, 37 years old, that was a hard climb when he won. Typical Mike Woods climb, the last 3 kilometers, extremely steep, and he won that, very dominantly. So, nice for him to win in the national champion jersey of Canada.
Yeah, I mean, like
I've never seen I don't know about y'all, but when I saw the images, I've never seen the Canadian. It looked more, when I saw the pictures, I was like, wait a second, what is he doing? The World Championships or the Olympics? It looked more like a national team jersey. I've never seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen it represented like that.
Yeah,
they did a nice job on the design.
I thought it was dope.
I mean, what an incredible rise he's had. I mean, like you said, Johan, 37, 38 years old, still winning a stage in the Grand Tour, won the epic stage last year in the Tour de France. Started sort of relatively late to the sport, was a runner. I remember watching him in races like Tour Utah, where they're like, we don't even know if the guy can stay on his bike, but we know that he can go uphill really fast. So to watch his rise,
big engine,
super big engine. And Johan, I don't know if you had some nostalgia watching our boy Brandon McNulty climbing out of the cliff, because I know there's some famous pictures of you doing the same thing, and that's every cyclist's worst nightmare: fall off of a cliff.
It's so terrible. I mean, in the case of Brandon McNulty, the scary part was actually the metal rail. You know, I mean, those things here in Europe. I don't know if you have them in the US, but you know, they're just, and he slid right under it. I mean, that's like a knife. You know, so he was very, very lucky to. I mean, he was full of blood, but it was very superficial. So it looked a lot worse than it was.
Hey, FYI, those are called guardrails.
Guardrails, okay.
And yes, we do have some of those in the United States.
Okay. Well, they're dangerous for bike riders.
Johan,
ask Chloe Dygert.
Yeah, I've been there too, following you down in San Sebastian, down the Escabel.
Yeah,
I went underneath one of those guardrails. Not fun. Yeah. Ended up in the hospital. Johan, what rating are you giving Decathlon right now? Obviously, a great rating for protecting the GC. I think they haven't really shown they're doing everything they can to their abilities. My question is, like, Red Bull, what's going on there? I feel like they make these little mistakes that a team of that, stature shouldn't be making with a rider like Primož Roglic. I mean, this little things, like, for instance, yesterday, was the bike change necessary? Was that an absolute, like, how much would that help him? I can guarantee you that did not help him. That effort took a lot more than they probably expected.
I don't know about that. It was planned. You know, he already did it in the Giro when he won one stage. Yeah. So I mean, he seems to like this setup of one by with a small chain ring,
But I'm with George on this.
Yeah,
it's not worth all the hysteria, the drama, the risk. Now,
I mean. And also, like, at some point, you caught an audible. You have a team like Movistar at the front going full gas, to keep this breakaway in check. We know this is going to be not an easy task. I mean, as a director, I'm gonna probably question that decision and say, you know what, let's just stay with the bike we have and get to that climb as fresh as possible. I think it clearly affected him at the end.
No, it did. I mean, obviously, independently of all that, the 20-second penalty he got is very expensive. And they should have known better. He should have just drafted off other cars, and not with teammates there.
Exactly.
In terms of, Johan,
sorry to interrupt, but also look, they have so much information on the route. Like, you change like midway up a climb or on a place where the cars are still going to be all bunched up. They changed. It was a downhill, windy section. They knew it was going to be all spread out. Like, you got to make that call where it's an opportune time to change a bike. If you do decide to do it, figure out the route, figure out the best place to change the bike.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, it was not the safest thing, and especially, it's not like he's desperate. It looks like the trend he's on from his side, and the trend Ben O'Connor is on. It's gonna figure itself out by himself. So
that's right.
Do experiments or take crazy risks, but I mean, surprisingly, yesterday after the finish, I saw he was at 43 seconds. Then all of a sudden, I saw 103. They gave him 20-second penalty, and today in his press conference interview, he says, it's okay, I'll survive. So he feels very confident, I think.
Well, if you look at the final week, I mean, yes, he now. You still have to race the race and not have bad days, and he still has the time trial, right? But this last week is look at some of you put them in the show notes, Johan. Like there's some diabolical climbs. Like the time difference on paper. I mean, you'd be crazy to bet against him.
Yeah.
But George brings up great points. It's like, why get cute? Like, and by the way, if you are that confident and you can sit there and say, well, I will survive. Well, then don't try things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no need. And look, I'm a huge Roglic fan, but we never would have done. I mean, it's just like, just keep it simple.
It's maybe also, I mean, I think at the end, the responsibility lies also on Primoz himself. He needs to know that he should find other wheels, other cars, rather than, I don't know who's driving the car, but that car should have, as soon as he saw that he was behind, he should have gone out of the way and said, hey, come on, look for another car, Yeah, that's too bad. But hey, listen, it adds a bit more to the suspense of the race. I think 103 is not enough for Ben O'Connor. About Decathlon, you asked me what do you rate them? They've done an amazing job in terms of defending. There's one thing that I saw the other day, which I do not understand. One of the stages, I don't remember which one. Ben O'Connor was having trouble, and you have Felix Gall, who is obviously a great climber, who rides away from the leader and comes in 30 seconds ahead of the red jersey. I said, what is going on there? That was not. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, I looked at the results. He lost 26 minutes, Felix. It's not like he was riding to be in the top 10, because now that's over. So that was a bit strange. Maybe O'Connor told Gall, okay, listen, go, because I prefer to ride my own pace. But even then, you don't leave the leader of a Grand Tour on his own. That was a bit strange. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, no, I agree, Johan. And I bet it's easy to sit back and criticize a lot of stuff going on, but those things are simple, cycling 101, like stay with your leader to the very top. And who cares if you're in 9th or 10th place? You got to have a guy winning the Tour of Spain right now.
Yeah. So maybe, I mean, Ben O'Connor is leaving the team. That's one thing. That should not be an issue. There's a pretty big chaos going on in that team. There's a whole restructuring. I don't know if you saw, they fired Vincent Lavenu, the founder of.
Did they really?
They did. Yeah,
I did not see that.
Yeah, wow. That was. I don't know. This guy. I mean,
wow.
From all the French directors, I think he was. For me, for my experience with all the French directors back in the days, he was the most non-French.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean, look, and a lot of these guys, this is the same, right? And we often refer to our days or our years or our decades. I mean, Mark Matteo is still there. Lavenu was still Bernardo. I mean, these are the same characters that 20, 30 years later are still there. And I'm with you. I thought Lavenu was, he just always seemed so reasonable and calm. And that's surprising to me.
Yeah. But then especially if you know that, this guy started this team very little. It was a very little team, Chazal or something like that. The guy mortgaged his house to have the team survive a few years. And now he just got called for a meeting and got fired on the spot. He needed to give in his laptop and his cell phone, and that was it.
Come on,
I tell you.
Oh. Yeah. Wow. So when you say
you know what that is? Okay, I'm gonna bring this full circle. All right, I'm gonna get whoever did that. I'm gonna give him a yellow card.
Yeah.
Red card.
That's it. Okay, red card. That's 2 yellows equals red. I'm giving him that's a red card.
Unless we're missing something that happened, but that is shocking. I mean, they had the best season of I feel like their history of their team this year. Mm-hmm. So maybe something happened internally, but based on their results, he should not have been fired.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Before we run, I just want to kind of go down the list of some of these for those who are just going to watch this last week and check it out. And look, he's got a minute. Stage 16. Lagos de Covadonga, which is, I've never done that climb. Everybody talks about it. The weather can be an issue, as we even saw some bad weather yesterday. From what I've heard and watched over the years, epic. A couple of transition stages. Stage 19, Alto de Moncalvillo. 8 kilometers. The last 4K are double digits. Yet again, super steep final. And then, stage 20, the most elevation of I think I'm reading this right, most elevation of this Vuelta.
The whole Vuelta, yeah.
So he has time, right? He still cannot have bad days. Let's not forget. I mean, this is not a foregone conclusion. He still has to. He did not look, for my money, Roglic did not look great yesterday.
I agree.
I mean, the
plan was different for sure.
Yep. So just folks, just keep that in mind. And then finally, I do think if it did come down to it and the time stays where it is, you got a 24-kilometer time trial at the end. I mean, there's the fan and you're the spectator and you. It's like, how about we just keep it like this and get to the last the last day? I mean, that would be fun to watch. But there's a lot of racing left to go.
Yeah, I think we're dealing with Primož Roglič. You know, I mean, listen, he's a triple Vuelta winner, won the Giro, second in the Tour. The quality of this guy and the mental toughness of this guy is he knows how to do this.
And he's riding. I mean, based on our counterparts' analysis, I mean, he's doing some of his best climbing numbers of the entire year. So he's obviously got the fitness, the confidence. I just feel like, they're just making little mistakes that a team like that shouldn't be making. But I'm not taking the way that the chance that he's most likely going to win the Tour of Spain.
So he would become the second rider ever to win 4 times the Vuelta. Only guy who'd done it until now is our ex-teammate Roberto Heras.
Yep. I think that was a trivia question.
Yeah,
early
it was
on in this Vuelta.
It was.
Even I knew that, Johan. All right, guys, I got to fly to San Francisco. George probably has it. What do you got? You probably got a big day out on the lake doing some wake surfing. Although, is it looking a little rainy in the background? Is that going to put a damper on Labor Day?
No, I'm going to go take my GS1 out on this gravel trails right behind my house here, and then maybe do a little bit of surfing.
And Ashish is in town. Ashish and his whole family is there for Labor Day weekend?
Correct, yes.
Johan, all we can ever do is just kind of see this dreamy background behind George. And now like Ashish is there with the whole, like, I love the guy. Like,
how many times have I invited you and you say, "Oh, no." So Johan, you know what it's like.
You've never invited me, George.
You're welcome anytime.
I am relegated to the garage.
By the way, right around the corner, we have a great golf course as well.
I'm going on a little bike ride also now. I found a new riding mate here in Mallorca. It's the son of a certain Miguel Indurain, who has a nice bike shop here. And yesterday I had a little ride with him and had fun with a little video he sent to his dad. Me still the wheel sucking Belgian of Indurain.
Does he pedal like his dad?
I'll post the video on social media.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, he doesn't because Big Mig, man, he had that style that was just so fluid. It just looked perfect. And he's just curious if that trickles down.
He actually told me that his dad, I mean, and I've spoken with a lot of people. Miguel just does all the Gran Fondos, George, maybe a future, and he is unbelievably strong. He trains like an animal and is incredibly strong at 60 years old. It's pretty impressive.
I'm out. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next Sunday? Let's do it one of those days. Sunday or Monday's a little crazy for me next week, but recapping this, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
1 week to go. A lot of climbing.
I'll be in Bentonville, Arkansas.
That's right. The Hincapie
home
Fondo.
Of cycling for the Hincapie Fondo. So Sunday could be a little difficult, but yeah.
Okay. Well, as usual, per usual, we'll work around your schedule, George. We'll make it work. might be yet another early one. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you in a week.
Ciao. Thanks, guys. Ciao.